Imagine loving an actor so much that you watch every movie he makes, but then you start noticing something strange. Keanu Reeves, the man known for his kindness and quiet strength, keeps turning down major projects with some of Hollywood's biggest names. Not because of money or schedule, but for deeper reasons he rarely talks about. In this industry full of egos and drama, why does someone as humble as Keanu draw clear lines with certain co-stars? Today we explore the real stories behind 5 big actors he has reportedly chosen not to work with again. These choices reveal a lot about the man behind the legend and what he truly values on set. Stick around because some of these reasons might surprise you. What really stands out about Keanu Reeves is how he approaches his work with a quiet sense of integrity that has stayed consistent through decades in Hollywood. People often talk about his kindness, his generosity, and the way he treats everyone on set, from the biggest stars to the crew members getting coffee. But behind that humble image, there are clear boundaries he sets when it comes to collaboration. And those boundaries explain why he has stepped back from working with certain major actors, even when big opportunities came. Knocking One name that comes up often in these conversations is Robert De Niro. Keanu was actually offered a strong role in the 1995 film Heat alongside De Niro and Al Pacino, but he chose to pass on it. According to reports from that time, Keanu felt the script and the intense violence did not align with where he wanted to go creatively at that moment. He had other projects calling him, including theater work, that felt more meaningful to him personally. In interviews years later, Keanu has spoken about being selective with projects, not out of ego, but because he wants to bring something honest to the screen. He once mentioned in a conversation that he had several chances to share the screen with De Niro, but turned them down because the material or the timing did not feel right for him. This was not about any personal dislike, but more about staying true to his own standards as an actor who values depth and respect on every project. Fans who have followed Keanu know he has always been this way, even when it meant walking away from huge paychecks or blockbuster pairings. Another actor whose name surfaces in discussions about Keanu's choices is someone known for a more chaotic energy on set. And that contrast matters because Keanu thrives in environments where everyone shows up prepared and professional. He has shared in rare comments how important it is for him to feel safe and focused while working, and when that atmosphere gets disrupted, he quietly steps back without making a big scene. This approach comes from years of experience where he learned that real talent does not need drama to shine. Keanu himself has emphasized in talks with fellow actors that respect on set is non-negotiable, and he leads by example, whether it is helping the stunt team or making sure no one feels left out. Moving to the next name, many point to situations where Keanu preferred not to repeat collaborations with actors who brought a very different style of intensity that clashed with his calm, methodical way of performing. For instance, there were projects where schedules and creative visions simply did not line up, and Keanu chose roles that allowed him more control over the kind of stories he wanted to tell. One example that stands out is how he prioritizes projects that let him explore characters with real emotional layers rather than jumping into every big franchise offer. This selectivity has helped him build a career that feels authentic to who he is. Keanu has never been the type to chase trends or force partnerships just for box office numbers. Instead, he waits for the right fit where he can give his best and respect to the people around him fully. A third actor often mentioned involves past opportunities in major films where Keanu decided the overall environment or the way the production was handled did not match his values. He has talked about how early in his career he learned to listen to his instincts about scripts and teams, and that instinct has guided him away from certain pairings even when the industry pushed hard for them. In one case, he chose a smaller independent style project over a high-profile reunion because it allowed him to stay grounded and connected to the work in a way that felt meaningful. Keanu's fans appreciate this because it shows he is not just going through the motions for fame, but actually cares about the craft. His decision to step away from some big names highlights how he protects the positive energy he brings to every set. Reports from people who have worked with him consistently describe a man who arrives early, stays late, and treats every role with sincerity, whether it is action-packed like John Wick or more dramatic pieces. This dedication makes it understandable why he would avoid situations that could compromise that focus. The fourth actor on this list connects to moments where Keanu felt the collaborative spirit was missing, and he chose not to pursue further work together despite initial interest from studios. He has explained in various profile pieces that he values humility and teamwork above all, and when those elements are not present, he naturally gravitates toward other opportunities. Keanu once shared during a discussion about his choices that acting for him is about connection and truth, not about competing or creating tension. That mindset has kept him away from repeating experiences with actors whose approaches felt too self centered or unpredictable for his taste. Instead, he has built strong long term relationships with directors and co stars who share his quiet professional ethic, like in the Matrix films or the John Wick series, where the teams worked with real mutual respect. This pattern reveals a lot about Keanu as someone who learned from losses in his personal life to cherish peace and authenticity in his professional one. Losing loved ones early taught him that time and energy are precious, so he invests them carefully. The fifth actor ties into similar themes of Keanu protecting the kind of set he wants to be part of, one where everyone lifts each other up rather than creating unnecessary friction. There were rumored projects where pairing him with this star was discussed, but Keanu declined because the creative direction or the reported on-set behavior did not align with what he believes makes great cinema. In honest conversations, Keanu has stressed that he tries to bring positivity and that he expects the same in return until proven otherwise. This is not about being difficult, but about knowing what allows him to perform at his peak. Many who know him say his refusals are always quiet and respectful, never public outbursts or scandals, which fits the man we have seen donate to hospitals, buy gifts for crews, and stay out of Hollywood drama. These 5 cases are not about hate or grudges, but about Keanu Reeves choosing integrity over convenience time after time. Looking deeper into his career, you see a pattern where he turns down big money or big names if the project does not feel right in his gut. For example, back when Heat was being cast, his decision to pass allowed him to explore other paths, including stage work, that challenged him differently. That choice paid off in building the versatile actor we admire today. Keanu has said in interviews that he loves acting more and more because it gives him a way to express complex emotions, honestly, and he protects that process by being selective. Another layer is how he handles fame itself, staying away from the ego-driven side of the industry that can turn collaborations toxic. People close to productions note that Keanu often mediates tensions rather than adding to them, which is why he draws lines when he senses constant disruption. One story that illustrates this is how he refused to participate in any behavior that could harm co-stars even when directors pushed for it during earlier films, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, where he stood up for respect on set. That same protective instinct applies to his choices about who he shares screen time with long term. As the years went on, Keanu's experiences in massive franchises like The Matrix taught him the value of trust within a team, and he carries that forward, refusing to settle for less in newer projects. Fans often point out that his John Wick success came partly because he surrounded himself with people who matched his work ethic and humility. This is why when offers come to reunite with certain past names, he evaluates them carefully based on whether they will allow that same positive atmosphere. It is refreshing in an industry full of quick decisions driven by agents and money to see someone like Keanu prioritizing the human side of filmmaking. His refusals never come with loud statements that show where his values lie. For instance, he has spoken about the importance of kindness not as a performance, but as a daily practice, and that practice extends to deciding which creative partnerships feel sustainable. Over time, this has earned him respect from directors and crews who know he will show up fully present. Even when turning down major actors, Keanu does it in a way that keeps doors open for friendship outside of work because his boundaries are about the process, not personal attacks. This balanced approach is what makes his story so compelling for audiences who see him as more than just an action hero, but as a thoughtful artist. Digging into specific projects, you find that Keanu's selectivity started early when he passed on roles that could have paired him with legends but felt off in terms of tone or commitment level. That early wisdom served him well as he navigated the pressures of sudden fame after Speed and The Matrix. Instead of chasing every opportunity, he built a career on roles that let him grow and connect with viewers on a deeper level. When it comes to the 5 actors in question, each case reflects a moment where Keanu sensed a mismatch in energy or values and chose to honor his own path. One involved high-stakes action where the co-star style felt too volatile for the focused preparation Keanu prefers. Another related to dramatic pieces where the reported set dynamics did not support the emotional safety he needs to deliver vulnerable performances. A third case tied to franchise talks where Keanu wanted to ensure the team stayed collaborative rather than competitive. The fourth highlighted differences in how they approached publicity and personal conduct off camera. And the fifth centered on creative differences that could have led to frustration on both sides, so stepping back preserved good relations. Throughout all this, Keanu has maintained his reputation as one of the most decent people in Hollywood by never speaking badly in public and focusing on his own work. This discretion makes the reasons behind his choices even more intriguing because they come from quiet strength rather than drama. Audiences connect with this because it mirrors real life, where we all set boundaries to protect our peace and energy. Keanu's story reminds us that success does not require compromising your principles and that real talent shines brightest in healthy environments. As we look at his recent projects, like those with strong ensemble casts, it is clear he continues to seek out partners who bring the same dedication and respect he offers. This consistency is why fans remain loyal year after year, seeing him as a rare example of staying grounded amid fame. The decisions to not pursue further work with those five big actors ultimately strengthened his ability to deliver performances that feel genuine and moving. Whether in quiet indie films or explosive action sequences, Keanu's presence carries weight because it is backed by personal integrity. People who have interviewed him often note how he deflects praise and redirects it to the team, which shows his mindset about collaboration. When boundaries are crossed in terms of professionalism, he simply moves forward without fanfare. That maturity is part of what separates him and explains the selective nature of his co-star choices. In the end, these stories about Keanu Reeves and the actors he has stepped back from paint a picture of a man who knows himself deeply and refuses to pretend otherwise for the sake of Hollywood expectations. His journey encourages viewers to think about their own values and the kinds of environments they choose to be part of, whether in work or life. By staying true to what matters most to him, Keanu has created a legacy built on more than just box office hits, but on quiet impact and earned respect. This consistency is why fans remain loyal year after year, seeing him as a rare example of staying grounded amid fame, and the decisions to not pursue further work with those five big actors ultimately strengthened his ability to deliver performances that feel genuine and moving, whether in quiet indie films or explosive action sequences. Keanu's presence carries weight. Because it is backed by personal integrity, people who have interviewed him often note how he deflects praise and redirects it to the team, which shows his mindset about collaboration. When boundaries are crossed in terms of professionalism, he simply moves forward without fanfare. That maturity is part of what separates him and explains the selective nature of his co-star choices. In the end, these stories about Keanu Reeves and the actors he has stepped back from paint a picture of a man who knows himself deeply and refuses to pretend otherwise for the sake of Hollywood expectations. His journey encourages viewers to think about their own values and the kinds of environments they choose to be part of, whether in work or life. By staying true to what matters most to him, Keanu has created a legacy built on more than just box office hits, but on quiet impact and earned respect. What makes this even more compelling is how Keanu has spoken openly in various interviews about the importance of feeling connected to the material and the people involved. For him, acting is not just a job, but a way to explore human experiences, honestly, and that requires an environment where he can focus fully without distractions that pull him out of the moment. This is evident in how he approached major career decisions early on, like when he was offered a role in the film Heat alongside Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Keanu chose instead to perform Hamlet on stage in Canada because the theater work aligned more closely with his desire to challenge himself in a different way at that time. As he mentioned in later reflections, he had several chances to collaborate with De Niro, but the timing and the specific projects did not feel right for where he was creatively. He has described in conversations how he listens carefully to his instincts about scripts and teams, and this has guided him toward roles that let him bring authenticity to the screen rather than forcing fits that might compromise his focus. Fans who admire Keanu appreciate that he never made these choices into public controversies. Instead, they remained private, professional decisions that allowed everyone to move forward positively. This approach reflects his overall character as someone who values peace and respect above fleeting industry pairings. Another aspect that stands out is Keanu's commitment to treating every project with sincerity. Whether it is a big budget action film or something more intimate, he has shared how early experiences in Hollywood taught him the difference between projects that energize him and those that might drain that energy, and he honors those feelings by being thoughtful about who he shares the screen with. Long-term, this selectivity does not come from ego, but from a deep respect for the craft and the people who make it possible. On set, Keanu is known for arriving prepared, helping others, and maintaining a calm presence even during intense shoots, and he naturally seeks out collaborators who operate with similar dedication. When that alignment is missing, he tends to step back quietly, which is what happened in cases involving certain high-profile actors whose styles or project demands did not match his own, for example. There were opportunities in dramatic roles where the reported intensity of the production environment led him to choose alternatives that felt safer for his creative process. He once explained in an interview setting that he prefers working in spaces where everyone can contribute without unnecessary tension because that allows for better performances overall. This mindset has served him well through hits like the Matrix series, where the team dynamic was strong and supportive, leading to iconic work that still resonates today. Keanu's fans often highlight how his choices show a man prioritizing quality of experience over quantity of collaborations, and that is part of why his career feels so consistent and admirable as time went on. He continued this pattern by evaluating offers based on whether they would allow him to stay true to his values like kindness and professionalism, which he has demonstrated repeatedly by supporting crew members and fellow actors in meaningful ways. Reports from those close to productions describe him as someone who leads by example, never demanding special treatment, and always showing up as a team player. This is why when certain pairings with big names did not proceed, it was never about conflict, but about protecting the positive atmosphere he thrives in. One particular case involved franchise discussions where Keanu felt the creative direction might not sustain the mutual respect he believes is essential, and he opted for projects that better matched his vision for storytelling. His decision to focus on roles like John Wick came after careful consideration of environments where he could perform at his best while ensuring the set remained. Collaborative and energetic fans connect with these stories because they reveal Keanu as a thoughtful artist who has grown from past experiences, including personal losses that taught him the importance of using time wisely. He has mentioned in profiles how such events deepened his appreciation for meaningful work and genuine connections, which influences how he approaches potential co-star situations. The fifth actor in these discussions ties back to similar themes of Keanu seeking harmony in his professional life. There were rumored projects where studios pushed for a pairing, but he declined because the overall fit did not feel sustainable for the kind of focused effort he brings to every role. Instead of forcing it, he moved toward opportunities that let him explore characters with depth and vulnerability in supportive settings. This pattern of thoughtful refusal has helped him avoid burnout and maintain the humility that defines his public image. Keanu Reeves has built a reputation not through chasing every trend, but through steady, consistent choices that reflect who he is at his core. People who have worked with him over the years talk about his quiet strength and his ability to stay present even in chaotic productions, and that is why he sets clear internal guidelines for collaborations that preserve his ability to give his all without compromise. Digging further into his career path, you can see how these decisions started forming early after breakthrough films like Speed, where sudden fame brought many offers, but Keanu remained selective, choosing paths that allowed personal growth, like independent projects or stage work that grounded him. The same principle applied when bigger names were involved. He would assess not just the script, but the potential team dynamic to ensure it aligned with his preference for respect and preparation. Keanu has emphasized in talks that he loves the collaborative side of acting most when it feels natural and connected, and he protects that by being honest with himself about what works for him. This honesty is refreshing in an industry often driven by hype, and it explains the curiosity around why he has not reteamed with certain actors despite their talent. The reasons are rooted in timing, creative differences, and personal readiness rather than any dramatic fallout, which keeps the focus on the work itself. As Keanu continues to take on new challenges in recent years, his approach has not changed. He still evaluates opportunities with the same care, looking for stories and teams that inspire him to deliver performances audiences can feel emotionally. This is evident in how he has embraced roles that mix action with character exploration, showing his range while staying true to the values that have guided him all along. Fans who follow his journey see these selective choices as proof of his integrity, a man who refuses to compromise even when it means passing on pairings with Hollywood heavyweights, and that integrity resonates deeply because it mirrors the kind of authenticity people crave in their own lives. Keanu Reeves stands as an example of someone who has navigated fame by holding on to what matters most to him. Kindness, respect, and dedication to craft, and those elements shine through in every role he takes. Whether or not certain big actors are involved, his story is one of quiet determination and thoughtful boundaries that have allowed him to create a body of work filled with memorable moments and genuine connections on screen and off. It is this balance that keeps audiences coming back eager to see what he does next and appreciating the man behind the characters for the real principled way he carries himself through it all. Throughout these experiences, Keanu has shown time and again that his refusals are never about closing doors completely, but about opening the right ones for the kind of career and life he wants to lead, one filled with purpose and positive energy that he can share with those around him. This is the core of why his choices regarding those 5 actors reflect deeper priorities, reflect surface level issues, and it adds layers to our understanding of him as an actor who values substance over spectacle every single time he has spoken about his process. Keanu highlights the joy he finds in roles that challenge him emotionally and physically, while surrounded by people who share that commitment. And when a potential collaboration does not promise that environment, he respectfully steps aside, allowing both sides to find better matches. This level of self-awareness is rare and has contributed hugely to the enduring appeal of Keanu Reeves as someone who remains beloved not just for his talent, but for the way he conducts himself with humility and strength in an often unpredictable business. His fans continue to celebrate this aspect of his personality, seeing it as a model for staying authentic, no matter the pressures, and that is what makes exploring these career decisions so interesting, because they reveal the thoughtful human side behind the iconic performances we all enjoy. If you enjoyed this deep look into Keanu Reeves and the thoughtful way he approaches his career and collaborations, drop a like and share which of his movies means the most to you in the comments below. It always feels good to hear from fellow fans who appreciate his quiet strength and real integrity. If you want more honest stories about the actors we admire and the choices that shape their paths, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Keanu continues to inspire with every role, and we will keep exploring the real side of Hollywood that matters most. Thank you for watching and staying true to the values that make his journey so special. See you in the next one.